Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, kings, queens, mighty knights and mages, how is everyone doing this evening? My name is Emmanuel, man of your Sunday Staples Room, and I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's broadcast of the Prophecy Cup in partnership with Everlight Gaming Network. Like I said, my name is Emmanuel, man of your Sunday Staples Room, and joining me is none other than Adam Rohauhi Levine himself. How's it going, my brother from another mother?
Decently. Levine. Adam. Oh, okay. Well, it's a sunny day out here on the Rift. We're no longer having to deal with the snow on the lanes, and we're all around doing pretty okay. Let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Yeah, we're bringing in a match tonight between Alerion Gaming and Dolphin sitting at about 6th and 7th seed over in their respective conference. I believe they're in the Mercury Conference. And 6th seed is the cutoff spot for Prophecy Cup this season for playoffs. So it's a really crucial spot for both of them. Alerion Gaming so far is they're still looking to pick up their first actual win of the season. They have one in their column, but that's from XD Gaming, the team who got disqualified recently for account sharing. So Alerion Gaming is really trying to look to pick something up and get ahead of Dolphin in these standings. Meanwhile, Dolphin a win here could help them jump up into 5th place and set themselves up to look pretty good considering they have a bye week next week, because their game next week was scheduled against XD Gaming, so they wouldn't have to play that game anymore.
Well, they certainly have the opportunity to pull a win out of here against Dolphin Slash. Dolphin Slash has a very strong roster, particularly if we're looking up in the top lane. Marquez has been doing rather well in recent games, particularly functioning off of that Urgot that he's been playing in in Flexed 5v5, but he's also been playing other things like Rumble, Kennen. But it's nice to see that Urgot being picked up right here. You know, he's still a very strong powerhouse in the top lane, and it's going to be interesting to see how Alerion tries to counter that, right? But I think their best bet is going to be down in the bottom lane.
Marquez Odista, just taking a look at some of his stats for the season for him. This guy's been doing pretty darn good, sitting at about, mouth. He's sitting about 1.5 KD, so pretty good for what he's playing in. But the biggest thing is the fact Urgot's a very strong champion this season. He's able to get that self for first pick, and not really much that can be done to contest him. But looking on the opposite side, that bottom, like you mentioned, Archalor and Dicron. I'm not going to say it, but whatever the second supports player rhymes with, what his name rhymes with, that's what's been happening this season.
Well, most definitely. A tiller. A tiller, is that how you say it? A tiller?
Artiller. They'll correct us eventually.
Oh, man. He's been doing really well in the AD carry role recently in his games. I don't know particularly about the Prophecy Cup, but just looking over his past 20 or so games, he's been playing a lot of Misfortune, a lot of Sivir, and Jinx, as he picks up right now, is also one of the 4 AD carries that he really likes to play. Well, actually, he likes to play all of the AD carries, apparently, but Jinx is definitely in his top 4. When you mix that with a Nami support, that's a lot of kill pressure going on in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it really allows Jinx to chain those kills together. When you pair Jinx with the Nami, she gets the speed up from all the abilities, and with the Nami E, that allows her to slow down on auto attacks. If she can get a kill, she can really easily chain two between that and the Get Excited, Nami just boosting up her moving speed. Jinx really functions well with those kind of like cradling support, the ones that help push you through the rough early game, like the Nami, like the Lulu, like the Sona, things like that, versus the kill supports, especially when she's going to somebody like Ezreal, who's known for having such a strong early game. It allows her to make it through that rough patch, maybe try and push a lane when Ezreal goes back, get some armor plating off, and really just find herself the goal to get herself towards that late game fantasy.
Now, something to make note of here is this Sion. I'm really interested. I've always loved seeing Sion whenever he's played, but they already have an Urgot for the top lane. He could be flexed to the mid lane. I'm talking about Urgot, but Sion can jungle. I've jungled him personally. It's a little bit on the slow side, but if you can make it work, he's one of the best tank junglers you can possibly ask for outside of like maybe a Gragas, who was up for the pickings. But it's going to be interesting to see just where they're planning on putting this Scion that they've managed to pick up onto Dolphin Slash.
I don't know. Another thing the thing about Scion Jungle, while it has a slow clear like you mentioned, the ganks are extremely potent. It allows you to get away with picking less CC heavy or less gank setting up mid laners because Scion just comes with so much. Yes, he's slow charging up the decimating smash, his Q, but if he just walks into that lane and he charges it at the proper angle because mid lane's such a short lane and such a long ability, you're forced to either flash or get knocked up in the air. And it can be devastating and decimating, as the name says.
Yes, and if it does connect, it also has a pretty high base damage depending on how far he has traveled. And his Q, while it does have a pretty long windup, all it takes is 1 second for him to get just a short knockup, and usually that's all it takes for that death sentence. But it looks like a Kindred is actually going to be picked up, and that's likely going to be their jungle pick, with a Vladimir potentially in the mid lane. So that means Scion might be support. Potentially, we're going to be seeing some bush cheese coming out of the Scion.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, for the side of Alerion Gaming, we got a Jax up in the top lane. That's going to be pretty nice against the Urgot. You know, if Urgot starts using his W, getting that shield, that fast auto-attacking, Jax can just activate his Counter-Strike and not have to deal with it, and get the damage boost from blocking all of those shots as well.
Yeah, Jax, I like this pickup into Nocturne or Urgot. It's someone that can scale with him throughout the game. He doesn't necessarily become as tanky as the Urgot, but becomes an absolute powerhouse in the later stages of the game with the classic thwomp, thwomp, thwomp into the towers that we all like to hear from him. My only concern for him is that this Urgot is still going to be pretty strong throughout majority of this game, and then there's also going to be the fact that there's a Vladimir who is also a pretty strong late game carry going into these games, so he's going to have someone that can contest with him. But we're going to make a switch over right quick over to the Prophecy Cup stream. That's twitch.tv/Prophecy Cup. So if anyone wants to just switch on over there, we're supposed to be hosting over there since this is a Prophecy Cup game. And if you switch on over twitch.tv/Prophecy_Cup, you'll be able to watch the stream over there. So make sure you tune on over. We're going to bring the game back. Next time you see us, we'll be in the game on Prophecy Cup. See ya.